I want to talk about the following the pillar of cloud. We read in Numbers 9:15. Numbers 9:15 it says, "Now on the day that the tabernacle was erected, the cloud covered the tabernacle, the tent of the testimony, and in the evening it was like the appearance of fire over the tabernacle until morning. So it was continuously. The cloud would cover it by day, and the appearance of fire by night. Whenever the cloud was lifted from over the tent, afterwards the sons of Israel would then set out, and in the place where the cloud settled down, there the sons of Israel would camp. At the command of the Lord, the sons of Israel would set out, and at the command of the Lord, they would camp. As long as the cloud settled over the tabernacle, they remained camped. Even when the cloud lingered over the tabernacle for many days, the sons of Israel would keep the Lord's charge and not set out. If sometimes the cloud remained a few days over the tabernacle, according to the command of the Lord, they remained camped. Then, according to the command of the Lord, they set out. If sometimes the cloud remained from evening until morning, then the cloud was lifted in the morning. They would move out. Or if it remained in the daytime and at night, whenever the cloud was lifted, they would set out. Whether it was 2 days or a month or a year, the cloud lingered over the tabernacle, staying above it. The sons of Israel remained camped and did not set out, but when it was lifted up, they did set out. At the command of the Lord, they camped, and at the command of the Lord, they set out. They kept the Lord's charge according to the command of the Lord of Moses." And then you read in Numbers 10 verse 11, it says, "Now in the second month, in the second year, in the second month, on the 20th day of the month, the cloud was lifted from over the tabernacle of the testimony, and the sons of Israel set out on their journeys from the wilderness of Sinai. Then the cloud settled down in the wilderness of Paran." And I read that because it's the basis for what I'm talking about with follow the pillar of cloud in your life. When you're led out of Egypt, the world, and you accept Yeshua, Jesus, then there's a journey to be had, just like there was with Rebecca, where she followed Eleazar after she said yes. And this is tied into the same things as it's just like a different perspective of the videos I've done on the inner court being the wilderness, or building our ark, several different things that just different perspectives on it. And what I see, when you have conviction, you'll watch the cloud move, in a sense. When you have conviction to do certain things, that's where the Holy Spirit or the moving in your life, and you obey. And when you obey, you're following the cloud until the Holy Spirit shows you to stop. That's what this was about. The tallit, the beard, those things, the ziziot were very important for me. It was a conviction that I saw the cloud moving and I responded. And just learning obedience that way, of conviction is there to move you along in the wilderness. It's moving you further in the journey toward the promised land. So it behooves you to follow the cloud in the wilderness as you go. And just like Rebecca followed Eleazar, we follow wherever he goes, wherever the Holy Spirit goes. And we'll see the cloud moving as we have conviction. A lot of the churches these days are not moving like Israel, because the fact is we don't live in the promised land right now. With all the sin and death and all those things, we don't live in the promised land. So we are obviously on a journey. We are somewhere between Egypt and the promised land, which is the wilderness journey where we learn obedience. And that's what it's about, is as you have conviction, you see that's where you'll see the cloud move, and you move. If the rest of the congregation isn't leaving, well then that's their problem. It's, each one of us has our own convictions, and we'll walk at different times. I think that things like head covering and modesty are symbols of ambassadorship, and they're a conviction that the more in tune ladies tend to obey. Doesn't mean that others aren't saved, they're just not to that conviction. Some may never be, who knows? But, like having beards, it was something where I realized this is something that I should be doing. And that's the way it is with all this stuff, is you read, you pray, you obey. If you don't obey, you don't progress in your journey. Everyone says they want to grow, but how many of them are willing to obey conviction to do so? So hopefully this is of interest and gets you thinking from this perspective of follow the cloud. When the cloud moves, aka you have conviction, when you see the cloud moving, you move. When you see the cloud settle, you settle. So, shalom, shalom.